Hello, hello. Megan Thompson here with Megan Thompson Coaching. And today we are talking about why your sensitive child or teen just won't sleep. So, obviously, in your brain, you're ready to pull your hair out. But right now, what I want to talk about is what is actually going to work to help your child fall asleep. And I want to speak about where you're stuck as a parent and why you're stuck, and just get a clear picture on whether or not this video is relevant for you. I'm going to describe a little bit about what we hear from parents frequently. So one of the challenges that we see from parents is that their child is doing one of three things, okay? Child, teenager, might be running around the house struggling to fall asleep because they have what we call frenetic energy. They are just bouncing off the walls, struggling, and you as a parent might dive into different conclusions, like your child is just doing it on purpose, your child is hyper, your child has no ability to settle down, what have you. Or your child might already be in bed but really struggle with letting you leave. So that might look like a million questions, or having a hard time talking to you about all of the what ifs. Your child doesn't share with you where they're stuck until it's bedtime. And so parents in this circumstance may feel like your kiddo is just delaying bedtime, trying to manipulate you, or if you don't feel trapped yet, you might feel like it is their only time to have a conversation with you, and you might notice or justify that long drawn out bedtime process that could take 1, 2, even 2.5 to 3 hours, depending on your child. And for you as a parent, you might think to yourself, well, we only have so little time to parent our children at this age, so they might grow out of it. Or lastly, you might look at this as an opportunity for your child to finally tell you all of what they've been struggling with all day long, and then notice or decide that this is a appropriate way for your child to share their emotions with you and continue the pattern. So that's the two circumstances that we hear from parents all the time. And then the third one is more often for older children, teenagers, etc. But parents of 5-year-olds are not exempt, so keep listening. And this is where your child is really stuck to the screen, or is really struggling with negotiating getting off of the screen. So this is a teenager who's just scrolling through Snapchat, Instagram, etc. over like all night long, TikTok, right? I'm dating myself for this video. And with that being said, this could be, struggling to turn off the tablet, struggling to turn off the TV for younger children. So you may be thinking that your child is screen addicted. Now, if this behavior is happening at night, then there is an additional pattern that we need to take a clear look at. Okay, so let's look at the three components as to why your child is not actually sleeping. And before we dive into that, parents will often look at multiple ways to solve this problem. So one of the ways to solve this problem might be to ask questions about how to help your child relax, right? So this could be looking at essential oils. You might try to talk to your pediatrician about melatonin. You might look at, weighted blankets or other sleep aids for the bedroom. You might try to use guided meditation, or audiobooks or something of the like that you are trying to help your child fall asleep. And I want to speak about the use of those as tactics. So when we think about for parents of highly sensitive children, if your child is struggling to sleep, then your child is likely lacking some pretty significant skills during the day. And that's what we're going to talk about today. There are 3 main skills that your child is lacking during the day that is leading up to the bedtime challenge. And without addressing these, you'll be in the same position of dealing with whack-a-mole if you continue on the tactic method of trying to solve the problem. So what I mean by that is that the essential oils will eventually wear out. The melatonin, your child will build up a tolerance for that, which is likely why you've been hesitating trying to use it in the first place. Those meditations will be boring, etc. So if you're running into this challenge, then stay tuned, because this is exactly a symptom of the bigger challenge that we see many parents have, a symptom of the bigger problem. Okay, so let's break it down today. First skill, emotional processing. So highly sensitive children, highly sensitive teens, highly sensitive adults take in lots of information from the world and then need to filter it. They need to process it. They need to categorize it. They need to put it in neat little boxes so they can fall asleep, right? So if your child does not have that capacity, their brain is going to be moving a mile a minute, whether it's during the day or at night or all of the above, okay? So let's talk about the brain. Your child's brain, every brain, has what's called the reticular activating system. Reticular activating system is like the brain's filter or sieve. And so what that does is it helps the brain process information, categorize it, and decide whether or not that information is relevant or not. And so if your highly sensitive child does not know how to exercise their mind in processing appropriate information and categorizing it appropriately, then at night, their sieve is going to be full because they are dealing with a different sized funnel. So you guys might have heard me say this before, but highly sensitive people, I didn't bring a funnel today. Highly sensitive people process more information. Okay, so you think about the concept of a funnel. There's a big circle at the top. All right, and then it funnels down to a smaller circle. Highly sensitive people process this amount of information. Non-highly sensitive people process this amount of information. So if you notice with depth of processing that your highly sensitive child or highly sensitive teen is taking in more information from the world, and then they don't know what to do with that, that's going to lead to a problem at bedtime, okay? So that's number one. You need to help your highly sensitive child or teen process their information, categorize it, understand where their challenges are, and notice what is necessary for them to digest and process and what is necessary for them to table or to let go. And that brings me to my next point. All right. The next skill that your highly sensitive child needs is to avoid avoidance. I'm going to use a double negative here because sometimes I do that. And what I mean by that is that many people who are highly sensitive use the skill of emotional avoidance, and that is what's leading to the bedtime challenge. So why do I say this is a skill? Because it's a behavior pattern that is serving a need. And many people in the world who are not highly sensitive also avoid their emotions. And unfortunately, that skill keeps them stuck. So for your highly sensitive child, if your child is not experiencing their emotions on a day-to-day basis when the event happens, and instead they are trying to check out by using a coping skill that distracts them from the event, or by asking you to tell them that everything's going to be okay, and you're reassuring them, and there's a feedback loop where they are getting a dopamine hit that allows them to feel better, but not actually feel capable of solving the problem, then your child is engaging in emotional avoidance. Now, if your child is also checking out on screens, then that's another way for your child to be struggling with emotional avoidance, right? And so we see this often with teenagers, but young children do it as well. Your child may be numbing out their emotions. They may be checking out with the TV, but they also might be checking out with reading books. I know for sure I definitely did this growing up. Life was challenging for me growing up. I did not have a lot of social skills. I had a really hard time managing my own emotions. And I didn't learn those skills till I was much older. And it was really easy for me to escape in books. Now, you might see this behavior and say, well, it's great for my kid to be reading, right? It's also great for your kid to be experiencing their emotions. So it's important to not look at things in a black or white situation. Don't rule out book reading while also simultaneously focusing only on emotional avoidance. So you need to be able to focus on that balance with your child. Highly sensitive children who avoid their emotions become highly sensitive teenagers who avoid their emotions, who then engage in risky behavior. How do I know that? Because that's my specialty. Our specialty in our private practice is working with highly sensitive teens who engage in risky behavior, and they engage in that risky behavior like chronic self-harm, chronic suicidal thoughts, drugs and alcohol use, promiscuous behavior, etc., eating disorders, etc., because they are not experiencing their emotions. They're escaping it through those other means. So super crucial for you as a parent of a highly sensitive child to be focusing on helping your child feel their emotions, be okay with them, and then move on. And that is way different than telling them that it's okay. It's going to be okay. All right. So that's really important. So when we think about teens who are stuck in this pattern and they are stuck on the screens, or they're isolating, or they're refusing to be, social or with the family, you might also wonder how to help your teen experience their emotions and talk about their emotions and communicate them and process them if you can't get a word in edgewise because they're locked up in their room, right? So we encourage you guys to stay tuned, keep listening to where you're stuck, watch our videos, and pay attention to what we teach to address this very broad topic, because not a one and done, here's the tip solution, right? That's all of what we're talking about here. Getting your child or teen to fall asleep on a regular basis is not going to be solved with a magic pill. You need a routine. You need to be able to help your teen process their shame, process their worries, process their fears, and be okay with them. And that doesn't mean that you just allow them to vent. It doesn't mean that you just allow them to chit chat or make a TikTok video about it and have them be, wipe their hands and be all done with it. So it's a deeper process than that. It's a more thorough process than that. The other thing that I think is really important to focus on for parents of highly sensitive kids and highly sensitive teens is the challenge that many parents will mention, which is not knowing how to advocate, right? So when we go to my next point, if your teen or your child is stuck and they don't know how to break down their big emotions and ask for help, then they're also going to be worried about what might happen next at bedtime. So this is another reason why your child might be stuck at bedtime, and why the quick fix of engaging in a relaxation activity or using a strategy like that, or a tactic like that, or a tool like that might feel like it's working in the short term, but the long-term deep underlying issue is not being addressed because your child is not learning how to ask for help. If your teen is not learning how to stick up for themselves, then all of their worries and concerns throughout the day are still spinning in their mind. So what do those look like? Well, we hear teens and kids speak about how they have different standards for themselves. What that means is they might look at a child or a teen on TikTok or on social media, whatever platform is hip in that moment, and I can't believe I just said hip. Oh, wow. But either way, whatever is popular in the moment, your child or your teen is going to notice that their peers are engaging in different activities. They might worry, why do other people seem to have more friends than me? Why can't I just be relaxed? Why can't I slow down? Why is my brain moving a mile a minute? Why can't I just be? Now, children have the same thoughts, but they don't really know how to articulate it in that level. So highly sensitive children might say, I don't think people will like me, or what if they get mad at me, or what if Sarah says something mean to Jenny. Now, your highly sensitive child may also be worried about what might happen to them in that moment. And if they don't know how to speak up for themselves or ask for help or feel like they're not a burden when they do either of those things, because they might be able to do it but not actually follow through with it, then their mind is going to be moving a mile a minute at bedtime for those reasons as well. So, as everybody knows, if you can't slow down your brain, then you can't relax, right? So, and relaxation is required for sleep, and you can't make your kid sleep. A couple of things you can't make your kid do, right? Sleep, eat, go potty. As teenagers, sleep, eat, and stay focused, right? So there's all sorts of things that as a parent, you can't control your kid. They're not your puppet, and you know that. So you need to focus on the skill deficit and the learning gap and the learning opportunity that your child has, that your teen has, in order to help them break out of this cycle of feeling like bedtime is a thing that they should be avoiding, okay? So when we pay attention to this for your highly sensitive child and your highly sensitive teen, The clear components that you know to be true, if you've watched our trainings before, are that you need to do this in a playful manner. You need to do this in a way that isn't shaming and that doesn't set your child up to feel like they're wrong or broken. And for teenagers, you need to help them notice that this isn't just about the leverage that they want to live a peaceful life, or that they have professional dreams or aspirations as they grow old, and they're going to need these skills to reach those, right? It's because they know that they deserve to live a happy life right now, and that's why they should do things to take care of themselves. And so if you're struggling with helping your child or your teen engage in these skills so that they can slow down at bedtime, so that they can use tools to help them get over the hump, but that magic pill is not what you're looking for long term, then I encourage you to book a call with our team. Reach out for support and figure out if what we do can help you get there. If we feel like what we provide in terms of the services we provide for parents or teens are the next step, then we'll tell you how that works. So I just realized that my little bubble here for advocacy was in the middle of the screen. Parents of children should call us at, set up a conversation with us at meganthompsoncoaching.com/talk. So these are parents of kids for 8th grade and under. And then for parents of teens, we encourage you to go to meganthompsoncoaching.com/talk. And these are parents of kids who are in high school age. So whether you homeschool or not, we go by grade level, because the mindset and the approach that your child or teen is going to take towards these events are focused on their developmental stages. And what we do and how we help parents or teens and their parents is contingent upon their developmental stages, because the objective for MTC is to help you raise children who are developmentally expressing their emotions in an appropriate way based on their age. Now, that might mean that your child is dealing with daily meltdowns, shutdowns, refusals, or expressing their emotions in an unsafe way in some way, shape, or form. And if your child is doing that on a regular basis, a daily basis, or your teen is doing that on a daily basis, then that means that whether they're highly sensitive or not, they are not exhibiting their emotions at a developmentally appropriate way, in a developmentally appropriate way. So if you are struggling with helping your child or teen building these skills and doing that in a way that feels systematic and not like you're throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks, then I encourage you to book a call with our team. Again, meganthompsoncoaching.com/talk or meganthompsoncoaching.com/teen talk. And the links for those calls will be posted in above this video or below, depending on where you find this video. Okay, and I wish you the best in having a wonderful